Ukraine does not need security guarantees from Russia, it needs protection from the aggressor, the president of Ukraine has said. When the terms of the peace agreement are discussed, then it will be possible to talk about what the Russian Federation owes to Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelenskyy emphasized. In the meantime, Kyiv needs quick decisions, in particular regarding security guarantees, and they depend only on the partners of Kyiv, the member states of NATO.
Our army is millions of millions. The financing for this army, the armor for this army, the anti-aircraft warfare, total air defense, a defense that neither the Russians nor the Europeans have, the defense that the Americans, President Trump, have exclusively. The protection of anti-aircraft warfare is exclusively from them, and that's what's important. And the contingent from those countries who are able for some time, I do not know, for some time to stand in our cities, on our cordons, on the contact lines.
United States Special Envoy for Ukraine and Russia, Kit Kellogg, has repeatedly stated the need to provide Kyiv with reliable security guarantees. One of the goals of his visit to Ukraine is to hear the arguments of the Ukrainian side and to convey information to the President of the United States.
We understand the need for security guarantees. We very clearly ask the enforcement sovereignty of this nation and the defense of this nation as well. And we're going to, part of my mission is to sit and listen and say, okay, what are your concerns? What are we asking? We can go back to the United States, talk to President Trump, and with Secretary Rubio and the rest of the team, and just ensure that we get this one right.
Russia continues to use information manipulation and seeks to sow discord among our country's partners. Therefore, it is important to adhere to the principle of nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine, which remains key in all international negotiations. From a publication on the website of the Office of the President of Ukraine,
Europe is ready to provide Ukraine with security guarantees even if the United States falls to the same, the President of the European Parliament, Roberta Metsola, has said. The European Union has already mobilized 48.5 billion euros in military aid to Kyiv and continues to strengthen Ukraine's defense capabilities. Metsola noted that the situation requires constant review and Brussels is ready to expand security guarantees for Kyiv.
So we have been delivering, but we must, of course, assess and be ready to step in with all the necessary security guarantees to ensure lasting peace. Roberta Metsola, President of the European Parliament, in an interview with Ukrainian media.
Russia's war against Ukraine should not end on conditions that would allow the Russian Federation to further destabilize Europe, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Canada, Melanie Joly, has said. Canada stands ready to assist Ukraine in ensuring a lasting and sustainable peace.
We've had conversations with European allies at the EU. I've had conversations also in France. I've met with many European colleagues, and we've said we want to be part of these conversations regarding security guarantees. We want to be part of conversations linked to more Canadians being involved in protecting Ukraine.
One such security guarantee for Ukraine could be a peacekeeping mission that would include servicemen from Kyiv's partners countries. European leaders are actively discussing the possible mandate for this mission. Washington supports the idea of placing European peacekeepers on Ukrainian territory.
if the Europeans want to do it, that's fine. I'm totally in favor of it. If they want to do it, I think that would be great. I know France has mentioned it, others have mentioned it, UK has mentioned it. If we have a peace agreement, I think from Europe's point of view, we won't have to put troops there because, we're very far away. But having troops there would be fine. I wouldn't object to that at all.
The EU and the UK may send up to 30,000 peacekeepers to Ukraine, the Washington Post has estimated. According to the publication sources, Kyiv's partners are now ready to provide several brigades for potential deployment in Ukraine. At the same time, the peacekeepers are not expected to be on the line of contact. They should be ready for a show of force if Russian forces try to resume the war against Ukraine. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Victoria Smirnova, UATV News. The UK is all ready to apply its military personnel to Ukraine to ensure the implementation of the peace agreement, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said. This is the first time that the head of the UK government has publicly admitted that he is considering sending British peacekeepers to Ukraine, the Telegraph has noted.
But any role in helping to guarantee Ukraine's security is helping to guarantee the security of our continent and the security of this country. The end of this war, when it comes, cannot merely become a temporary pause before Putin attacks again. Keir Starmer, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, in an interview with The Telegraph.
This decision means readiness and willingness to provide security guarantees for Ukraine, Starmer emphasized. Peace comes through strength, but the opposite is also true. Weakness leads to war, he said.
This is the moment for us all to step up, and the UK will do so because it is the right thing to do for the values and freedoms we hold dear, and because it is fundamental to our own national security. Keir Starmer, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, in an interview with The Telegraph.
A peacekeeping contingent from China and Brazil should be deployed along the ceasefire line in Ukraine, the White House has said, The Economist has reported. At the same time, the United States does not rule out the participation of the European military in the peacekeeping mission. Vice President of the United States J.D. Vance noted at the Munich Security Conference that the force consisting only of Europeans would be less effective in controlling potential aggression on the part of Russia. Analysts call Washington proposal not ideal but promising.
If we are talking about Brazil, it is an option. It is a BRICS country, a country that is one of the leaders of the global South, a country that is quite loyal to Russia, but not 100% and not directly involved in the war. As an option, Brazil is more realistic and interesting. I don't know how interesting it is for Brazil, but from a practical point of view, it's a more real participation than China.
Sweden does not rule out the possibility of sending its peacekeepers to Ukraine. Minister for Foreign Affairs of Sweden, Maria Stennergaard, has said, provided that a sustainable peace is achieved. The Swedish military can help maintain this peace, Prime Minister of Sweden, Ulf Kristersson, has said.
Well, we will take part of those discussions, and of course that is absolutely a possibility. There needs to be a very clear mandate for those forces, and I don't think we can see that until we have come further in those negotiations. But Sweden, we are normally a part of strengthening security in our part of the world, so I foresee us to be a part of that this time as well.
Ukraine will hold the consultation with European partners on the issue of the peacekeeping contingent, Volodymyr Zelenskyy has assured. European leaders are ready to assume this responsibility within the framework of providing security guarantees to Kyiv, the president of Ukraine has said. This should be representatives of different countries. At least 100,000 military personnel will be needed to effectively fulfill these tasks.
European leaders have gone to think. I think we will have some consultations, realizing that there is a big question of money here, of possibilities, because it is a lot of money. And if Ukraine sees that the contingent is really one of the components of security guarantees, they will be ready to send their troops to us.
Volodymyr Zelenskyy stressed that this is extremely important for Ukraine, that not only European but also U.S. military personnel take part in the peacekeeping mission, although the White House is not ready to discuss this now. According to Financial Times sources, Washington wants to provide external support to the troops of NATO member states that will take part in the peacekeeping mission. By the way, it does not necessarily include only infantry, the Ukrainian president said. The peacekeeping mission will require the presence of various types of troops, including the Navy. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.